back. Everyone needs an Aquarius. We are back in the building. Dom,
hey,
the channel is still growing and blowing. I'm proud of you, man. It's hitting.
Baby steps. That's clearly is what it's been. It's baby steps, but slow and steady wins the race.
100%.
That is my mantra.
No, but that's real though. No, it's real though. That's a real thing. You know.
So I also, trying to be consistent with dropping reels and different story times. I got a couple more that I need to upload that's in my phone. So I give my people an update because I appreciate, like I said, I appreciate the love and support. I'm not a girly that runs to the internet. I will call you with the quickness about something to get off my chest. But it's definitely, it just takes time, but it's just like I felt like things have been just stagnant. Even, like on the Instagram, like I'm losing followers. Like I was so close to like being at 8,500, and then it was like, no, we're gonna mess with you, and we're gonna let it.
You still haven't got that song.
No, and then it still is the restricted thing that's been there for a year now, and I have it's the weirdest thing. I can't report it. Every time I try to go report it, it says that it's something like wrong.
We gotta find if anybody knows anybody at Instagram. Them people at Instagram, somebody knows
Instagram, Facebook,
they'll hook it up.
Yeah, because I'm just trying to get that visibility, and so just being consistent with TikTok and things like that. And I just have to remember too is like anytime I make a post to also just kind of put it on my website, just so people can see that, oh, I do use my website and stuff. I'm just not paying $40 for nothing a month. So yeah, it's been interesting, but how are you?
I'm good. Just, man, this same old stuff with the daughter, man. Xander killing in soccer, man. So we full on soccer dad. Last weekend she had 4 games in 2 days. Yeah. So she was tired, but she was having fun. So that's all that matters.
All right. That's what we love to hear, little baby Xander. Not burning biscuits.
Yes, yeah. Keep her out the house as much as possible.
That's what I was to say. Keep her out the house.
Keep her out the house. Please keep her out the house.
Keep her out the house.
All right. Let's give an update on our 8-year-old kid who stole the SUV we talked about on the last show. We have an update on her, on the young lady. People are like, man, how she look? Oh, we know how she look now. And I'm somewhat surprised.
I am very surprised. Very surprised.
So I'm gonna read some more of what the mother said here. I'm gonna share my screen here for everybody, so y'all can see. That is the young lady right there, the 8-year-old.
Yes.
That was, had to stole the whip.
Stole the whip. And like it's so funny because it's such a childish reason.
Yeah, I'm gonna read it. Hold on,
so childish.
So I'm gonna read it here now.
And so I want people, when I say childish, y'all see how old she is. Some of y'all too old to be acting like y'all 8.
So Zoe's trip was planned. So it says there, the copy says Miss Wilson said that her daughter had made a plan the night before to take the car, but Zoe had told her she did not have a destination in mind for her adventure until she accidentally cracked the iPad while leaving the house. So she figured she would go to Target to replace the case. When she couldn't determine what size case she needed, she shopped for toys and makeup instead. Now stop. So she already was going to steal the whip from the beginning, they saying. So she's like, I'm going to take it, but I don't know where I'm going to go.
I don't know where I'm going. Yes. That's so childish and petty. Like what? So what if she ended up in like the next town over?
So it's more. So it says, what led Zoe to take the vehicle? I had a conversation with them like, y'all stop arguing. Y'all go separate rooms. It's not that serious. But I really upset Zoe more than anything, I guess. If she's explaining it, it's more like her being the youngest and having sisters, and they're older than you. And she feels like her voice is not being heard. She has nothing to do. She has to do everything they tell her to do. She said, so then the next one is, how did Zoe learn how to drive? I back my car into the driveway all the time. So all she has to do is pull out. But on my street here, she has to make a left onto ongoing traffic and get down the other main street she was on. She had to make another left into ongoing traffic, which I feel like is a very hard task, especially for an 8-year-old. But I'm thankful for my car because it has lane sensors that make noise to notify you. And it has an automatic stop on it. So if she got too close to a car or tried to reverse and something was behind her, it would automatically stop the car. I think I helped a little, but I think 90% of it was just her driving off of using go-karts and watching me drive.
Yeah.
It says, so the next part is if adults noticed she was by herself. She made it all the way to checkout. And this is the adult, one of the adults at the Target. And I asked her, did anybody say anything to you? And she was like, no, people just said, your dog is cute. Can I pet your dog? And I'm like, so even at the register? And she said, no. On the police department's Facebook. So I don't think it really bothered me too much in a sense. I think because with officers, sometimes things can go either two ways. So I was thinking, hopefully nothing dramatic or anybody was hurt. I think most of my concern was Target than anybody else. Then she said she grounded Zoe. How was Zoe after their deal? Well, the week after, she was upset about going to school. She was like, I'm worried because we're doing multiplication and multiplication is hard. And I'm like, Zoe, do you know how to drive a car before you drove the car the other day? And she's like, no. And I was like, okay, so just like that with multiplication. So that was encourage her to look at her schoolwork differently. So that's the story of Zoe, the young lady who stole what we talked about last week.
Because it wasn't nowhere near as bad as how the boy that said he wanted to do hood rat shit with his hood rat friends.
Yeah, hers was on some real thing at first, like, oh, I got to replace this case before they find out I broke this. Then when she couldn't find it, she was like, I'm here. It's because she's still an 8-year-old.
Yeah.
I'm going to shop for toys, and I don't know what the makeup was.
Makeup. It's just so funny because I would have thought she would have took the iPad with her so they could have got her one. But here's the thing is that people come in, they could have probably thought she lived like in the neighborhood and that she walked. Nobody would have known that she drove. She didn't say, oh, I drove here. She was just checking out. And shame on you, Zoe, for stealing your mama wallet like that. That's not right.
I gotta pay for this somehow.
But also, Mom, why you just got $400 in cash on you? And I get it, like, right? But like when you know you got kids,
you see my eyes though.
I know. Because I can't tell you the last time I had $400 in cash on me. And like my coworker, like the other day was just saying something about her not having cash because our warehouse was affected by the hurricane.
Yep.
And so how I was saying, dang, you know what? She was like, so they can't use because like the town, like the power and all this stuff, and this is a small town. She was like, they can't use like their ATM cards, like they can't get money out. And so the company was giving them cash. And so I was like, oh shoot, not only do I need an earthquake kit, but I also should probably keep a couple $100 in that kit. Mm-hmm. Just because you just never know. Mm-hmm. So yeah.
This the thing though, is that I was realizing maybe a few weeks ago, I was when I was in Chicago, I was out with one of my coworkers, and he was like, man, do you know how much crime would be decreased if you couldn't go to an ATM after a certain time? Mm-hmm. And I was like, what? And I thought about it. 100% correct. After 9 o'clock, there is no reason for you to need cash in that intermediate period before 8 in the morning or 7
unless
in the morning.
you're at the strip club and you just gonna have to pay the fee.
But that's somewhat, are prostitution, drugs, or you might get jacked at the ATM because somebody or someone jacked you and took your ATM card to the ATM.
Well, see, what they try to do now is, which is just, it's no help because you still have to go to your, walk to your car. So, and a lot of I think they do it there now too, where you got to swipe your card to even go into.
But see, it's a trick to that though. I forgot what comedian was talking about it. He was like, man, I went to the thing, somebody couldn't get in or whatever. He's like, and they had the Pooh Shiesty mask on. And the card thing was, he's like, go swipe your card. So they swiped it, and the guy, he was like, oh snap. So like he was like kind of trapped in between them, and he didn't know what to do. And he was like, I'm gonna be done in a minute. So he got done and he left, and he's like, okay, cool, OG. And just went and do their own business. He was like, he thought they was gonna take something from, but they was literally doing a real transaction. But you can also scan any card and get through that.
Yeah, that's why I was like, you can scan any card.
That's the problem. It needs to beat. I mean, it can't be to the bank because they still want to get their fees if they, you know, from somewhere
after
else.
a certain hour, it's just like, hey, we just like how much?
Or only your bank. Only your bank can. You can get only your bank
after a certain time. But also, like I noticed out here, there's not a lot of drive-throughs.
Drive-through banks.
Mm-hmm.
Like in general.
In general, it's not a lot.
Wow.
Because at least if you was at like a drive-through and you see somebody in the bushes or whatever, or somebody roll up on you, I'm like, I ain't like, fuck that. I'm driving off.
Right.
Like with the quickness, like I'm going to risk, like my car might get a bullet, but I'm driving off. Right. I'd rather, so, or I might bag into you, just like, oh, you want to do that? Oh, let's play.
They need to recruit this little girl for the CIA, though. This little girl, like we said before, she need to be recruited for the CIA.
Yeah.
The fact that she planned this out, she is only 8, so I mean, her mind was only gonna go so far to what she wanted. The fact that she planned it out the day before, stole the mama's wallet.
But I think they said she had like a Nissan Rogue.
Yeah.
And and I have that. Like I just turned my sensor on in like the last year about the lane, and I mainly did it because people out here like to ride that white line, the divider.
Mm-hmm.
Why, I don't know. That's not what that's there for. But just so, like, if I move over, I just need a level of proximity, and then also it dings like if it is something like in my
blind spot.
Mm-hmm. So
you think that she realized that that's how she could do? Because she said the only reason she hit the mailbox is it was green.
Because it was what?
Green. That's what she claimed. Yeah. Let me go back into it. That's what she claimed, I thought, on the thing. I only hit a mailbox and it was green. Oh no, she said it was only not because it was green. She hit a mailbox that was green. That's the only thing she hit.
Oh, well.
And I wonder if that's her trying to get out the neighborhood. Yeah,
probably.
And do you think that she realized that this is like, it's some beep and let me move it over? Like, my thing is like, how can she even? She can be tall enough.
So like, that road. So like, she probably was sat all the way up and was sitting up and lifted that seat up.
But how did her feet hit the pedals though?
She was tall enough to get that. She was still close enough. Because think if you sitting close enough and you sitting up, you somehow she done pulled it all the way up where she like there. She up on it.
And I wonder how people didn't realize why she was driving. Or these people not paying attention?
Well, they said somebody had called.
Yeah, okay.
Because that's how, I don't think it was Target that even called 911, like with the police officer. It wasn't like they was just even, we just so happened to be there at Starbucks getting an old-fashioned donut and a coffee. So somebody did call. They had reports of someone small they're like too small to be driving that car.
But hey, you Zoe, you cool with me.
That is cool
still, this article in the New York Times too.
Yep.
So shout out to you, Zoe, man. Look, I know
sit your ass down.
Sit your ass down, but you got a future though. You got a future in something. It can go either two ways for you, Zoe. I hope you do the right way.
Right. Don't end up like the one boy. Because he ended up in jail.
All right. Next up, this one's a little bit more seriouser, though. I mean, serious. Local activist Major Page, also known as Tyree Conyers Page, was sentenced to prison time after creating a fake nonprofit non-profit organization associated with Black Lives Matter to defraud donors and supporters of the cause to fund his shopping sprees. Page spent over $200,000 of donation funds on personal expenses. Page was given 42 months of prison time for his crimes. After being found guilty in April, he was charged with 1 count of wire fraud, 3 counts of money laundering, according to WTOL. In 2020, FBI's National Operations Center received a complaint alleging that Page was assessing and misusing funds intended for BLM removed by posing as a leader of the movement. Subsequent investigation found that he created a social media page titled Black Lives Matter Greater Atlanta, BLMGA. So he basically ran a finesse, and people didn't pay attention that it wasn't the Black Lives Matter Atlanta. Even though Black Lives Matter in general is, it's some real sketchy things.
It's some nefarious things going on
with their funds as well. So, but what you got on this, Don?
My sister said something that I was gonna say.
Okay.
And it was that he looks like a golden lord from Meteor Man.
Yes, he does. He does, because he's albino.
Okay.
But he's albino.
I was more so focused on the hair and things. That's like
what albinos' hair are. Albinos look like the golden lords, but they're just lighter.
I was just gonna only stay in that realm just because of the hair. I didn't want anybody to feel I'm like, girl, you're not helping me.
No, people are trying to say, no, we're not going to disparage albino people, though.
Yeah, no, but you're like, yeah, because he albino and they look like golden. I was like, you're not helping me. You're making this worse. So anyway, not saying that he had a certain look or anything.
Mm-hmm.
But this blonde hair with this box is just like a dead giveaway. And like you said, there's been so many sketchy things. And I hate that for the movement and for the cause, because initially things started out for the betterment of our people and trying to get people to understand what that meant, and I just want to say this to the scammers, because I literally said this because now there was a news story about how now people are scamming the parking meters.
How are you doing that?
Baby, so what happens is, you might go to a meter out here. All of our meters, for the most part, except for the random streets in Glendale that take change, that you have to use change. Everything for the most part is you can use credit cards. Some of them, if you let's say you don't want to use the credit card, like some of them have QR codes and have an app attached to it where you can pay to park. And so what people have been doing was going around covering, putting a fake QR code that takes you to a site to pay and different things like that, so they can get your credit card information.
Okay.
So that's what's been happening. And so I want to say to these people, get a fucking job. Get a real job like the rest of us. Yes, it's brutal. A lot of us hate our jobs. You know what I mean? And if you're going to scam like these corporations that are notorious for corporate greed, not fucking Ashley Madison, like the data breach and leak. Did that really change our lives? No. Go scam Mohila and wipe out all the fucking student loans like Navigant and Sally Mae, whoever the fuck else. These banks put money in our accounts. Do something for the greater good, because you better believe if some money came up in my account, I'm taking it out. I'm closing the account. I'm going somewhere else. I might not have a bank for a while. Go and pay in person, and then just be like, I don't know what you're talking about. That's all I'm saying. I know people gonna be like, but then they're gonna figure it out. They can figure it out after I file for bankruptcy, because they ain't never getting that money. So I'm just saying, do better. Do better. What? Now you're gonna spend 4 years in prison because you thought you could one up somebody and get over on people. And we always say, for us, like they always get you. Like they always gonna get us. Look at British. Now look at her husband or ex-husband, ex-fiance, whatever, in jail. Y'all using 4 years.
He's doing time too. He's getting ready to do time too, right?
Yeah, he gonna have to probably do like 4 years.
Damn.
And it's like it never works out. Y'all, you could be smart, but the government and all them agencies, they're smarter and they work fast.
We talked about before. You only got to be slow one time.
Yep.
You only got to be, slow late one time, early one time. They only got to be right one time to get you.
Makes no sense.
One time being one time, and on top of it, man. I just say, just be smarter, man. Just be smart. People with your scam a little bit better.
It never gets nowhere.
And you know what? Like, you're right. You know what? Don't scam at all, because scamming ain't gonna get you nowhere in general. It ain't gonna even work out for you. Yeah, no, it's not gonna work out at all for you. All right, explain to me this whole DDG thing. I don't understand it too much. DDG and was it Halle Bailey?
So funny, because on the latest episode of Whiskey Sour Libations and Conversations, we kind of delve through the music industry, and that group, Chloe and Halle, does come up.
The I Only Listen to 90s Music podcast is a show for 80s babies who were 90s kids. If you were a No Limit soldier, then this is your show. If you believe that Cash Money is not an army but was a Navy, this is the show for you. If you and your friends ever tried to sing a song written by Escape, In Vogue, Shy, or Boyz II Men at a talent show during middle school, this is your show. The I Only Listen to 90s Music podcast is a bunch of 80s babies talking about all the songs and things that we loved when we were kids and teenagers. So if you went to the skating rink and you were at a lock-in, this is the show for you. If you think that Tevin Campbell was the original Prince of R&B, this is the show for you. If you don't understand the conflict between Monica and Brandy, but you're kind of on Monica's side and understand why Brandy got punched, this is the show for you. Make sure that you tune in, subscribe, click the little subscribe link. We're here. We're going to talk about all things 90s music. This is the show for you.
I love them. I think they're amazing. They're the sweetest. I've met them.
Don't know one song from them.
And that's okay, because you're not their target audience. So I can get with that. But Victoria Monet did write the lead single on their last album, Ungodly Hour.
Then I have to listen to it now.
Here's the thing. It's a really solid body of work.
Okay.
They are managed. They are under Parkwood Entertainment, if I'm not mistaken. Beyonce.
Yeah.
Yes. So it's a really, really solid body of work. They dropped it during lockdown, and so they had these amazing live performances from their house. That was like really, really cool, and they, singing live. Anyway, as you know, our Black Little Mermaid, Halle, had a baby earlier, or announced that she had a baby finally, and. She kept it hidden, and rightfully so, because she was on a huge press run for Little Mermaid, along with The Color Purple. And recently, and honestly, she's been dating this guy, DDG. I don't know any of his music for a long time, like for a while, for several years. And it's funny enough, because on April 1st last year, he put up an ultrasound, and everybody thought he was trolling. He is notorious for being a troll. But when in reality, it was actually Halle's real ultrasound photos, sonogram photos. Anyway, so they recently broke up, allegedly, and he put out a statement.
Is that what we got to do now? That we got to put out a statement when we break up?
It is the strangest thing, only because he's very social media driven, and he posts everything.
I don't know any of his music. I've never heard.
I don't know either. And
I don't even know who he is, and I don't even know him because he's with
that's
Haley.
how I know him. That's the only reason why I know him, and that's no shade to you, young man. It's the truth.
No, you do your thing, but I'm just telling you, you're not on my radar like that.
Yes, and so ultimately, like this entire time that they've been in this relationship, a lot of her fans have been calling for her to break up with him just because he was so messy and problematic.
That's bogus. That's bogus.
Now I'll tell you why. So at one point, he, I guess, had a song or whatever. It was kind of talking about his like strained relationship, him being jealous that she was kissing this guy and it wasn't him, you know, and Little Mermaid and all these other things. And then
he's a sucker? He's a sucker like that?
Daryl, it gets worse.
Okay.
And then in this also goes on to mention kind of private things that we're not privy to, you know, her and Chloe having a strange relationship with their parents or something. So he speaks on that. And I was just like, you're crossing the line. Like, you're doing too much. Like, people have no discretion. Like, people don't know what privacy is. Just like keeping things for yourself. Like, did we really need to know that? And so people were really upset about that and just like, girl, leave him. He's going to be damaging to your career. And so ultimately she gets pregnant by him. And it's kind of like after it is released, she's kind of like, I'm gonna stick beside him type deal. And ultimately now they're broken up. When I saw the post, I was like, oh, he's trolling us again. You know, like that's just what it is. But I'm guessing it is really true. He has been on 5 or 6 podcasts now talking about this breakup.
Oh, okay.
But also kind of like trying to spin it like, oh, you shouldn't be in relationships this young because like there's so much expectation. And, you know, like, I like, why are you trying to do damage control about something that we don't even really care about?
This is all...
And it's weird. But and I just want to say, I get it that there's a level of that where if you're always on social media, people feel like they have a right to know. But this goes back to what I said about Victoria Monet and her guy breaking up and then putting out a statement, which I think I figured out why she put that statement out. Because, you know, she just dropped the deluxe edition of Jaguar. And so on the second album, like it's like about, you know, like this 1, this 2, the opening track is Dick at Night, and then she mentions how she's newly single on that song.
Oh, on the joint. Okay.
Yeah, so I think that's the only reason why she probably really even addressed that, because it would come out in this album, like on that song.
Fair enough.
Okay. But ultimately, I'm like, I think that people just need to learn a level of keeping things to themselves. Like, I know you're hurt and everybody's outlet and the way that we express things looks different, but just like when Judge Mathis, when it came out that he was getting divorced, and yes, he's much older, so I don't expect him to be on this campaign to get his wife back or anything like that. But
Judge Mathis is an OG though too.
But you know what he did? He took his ass home, and apparently they're back together. They're working through it. Yeah. Right?
Yeah.
So it's like, if there's something there, it's like, keep that for yourself and y'all try to figure that out. Because we don't need to know everything. We don't know because this is.
How old is DDG? How old is he?
They in their 20s. They in their early 20s. So I would say, because the weird thing is she still hasn't acknowledged this breakup or has said anything.
He's only 26, man.
I said they in their early 20s. Well, mid-early 20s.
Okay.
He's young. Right. But she's younger than that, because I think she's just barely 23. If she, because she ain't 26. Because Chloe like 24. Maybe.
Let me see. 24 is Haley.
Yeah. Is how old who is that? Chloe?
That's Haley. It's 24.
Okay. So that means Halle is younger than that.
No, Halle's 24.
Halle's 24. That means, okay.
Yes, so Chloe is
probably 26.
26. Yep.
So ultimately, like, she's still fairly, like, she's very young and also has like such a huge career and, you know, ahead of her. And this I'm not gonna say taint anything because, like, nigga, what? But it's also, I only see it getting messy because he about to be in his feelings. And so now you're about to start sharing more information that we don't care about. You was already terrorizing y'all little baby. That little boy was sick of him. You would see him in videos and he would just look at him like, again, this is what you're doing. You're doing too much. That little boy it be irritated.
Oh wow. So you saying the baby no.
The baby is like, get out, leave right now.
The baby.
So we don't need to know everything. And I want, just like how you want the music industry to go back to gatekeeping, I want the industry to go back to shutting the fuck up. Like everything, we don't need all the tea. It was fun when there was some sort of level of mystery around our performers. I don't need to be in the know.
Yeah, I'm out. I mean,
it's just weird. It's just weird. Like it's sad. It's a little sassafras.
Is his music any good? Have you heard anything? Any of his music?
Daryl, I'm serious. I don't know a song. I keep picturing the Untitled Chapter boy, and that's the wrong person.
Oh, okay. So he got a little trappy kind of
I don't know.
Haley in his video too, the one I see here. Our girl look like Haley. Oh no, that's another chick. I'm sorry. She looks like, okay. She just looks like her, but not dreads. Okay.
Yeah, right. I don't know.
Hey, it is what it is, man. Hey, man,
it's just weird.
Everybody got to make their own choices, and you know, they play the game the way they play the game.
Yeah. No, you're right.
All right. With this Dame Dash gonna be in 2 segments here, so we're gonna split him up. First one is him talking about the person that everyone's calling the new Miss Cleo, Jaguar Wright. They say a clock is right twice a day, right? A broken clock is right twice a day. Yeah. And Jaguar Wright is riding this out. So is Orlando Brown, and he's supposed to be doing a podcast together. Craziness, right? Oh, you ain't see that picture of them for the podcast?
I thought that was Photoshop.
No, I saw a video of them singing together and everything. Yeah, it's for real. So it goes back to the original thing with DDG, like we doing too much. So let's go with Dame Dash's thoughts. And even though me and Dame Dash, he doesn't know me from a can of paint. We have our issues when I come to the way he moves, but sometimes I agree with him 50% of the time. Here we go with
Dame Dash. Dame Dash owns 1/3 of Rockefeller Records, and at one time, Dame was business partners and very good friends with the one and only Jay-Z. And at this point, Dame and Jay, they're not really friends anymore. And Dame has been hearing all of the allegations from people like Jaguar Wright and asking, why doesn't Jay-Z just deny all of the claims from people like Jaguar Wright? Dame is at a point now to where he's literally asking a question that I've asked it myself.
Because I hear stuff that Jaguar says, and she be on like 10 toes down, like not allegedly. And I've been sued for not saying allegedly. That's why I got this problem I have now with this judgment. I have been sued for not saying allegedly. So the things she's saying, and she'd be like, no allegedly. Like no Diddy pause, or like, they be like, no allegedly. I would think that they could shut that down. So I'm curious. Now, I'm not saying it's true or not. I'm like, you can get sued for nothing. So I'm like, yo, how come nobody's suing these people? Why won't they just say no? Like, I'm not calling out no names, but we all know that the shit they're saying is nuts. Pause. This is a very transparent place and world in these days. It's very easy to say that's not true.
I literally put out a video asking this exact same question. I honestly
All right, that's enough of you, my brother. No disrespect to you. Dom.
So it's interesting enough that this happens because now we're on the heels of Piers Morgan having to apologize for having Jaguar on his show.
That's like a big jump the shark moment of life. I thought that was a joke when I read that she was on Piers Morgan. Like, what?
So Beyonce and Jay-Z's team, pretty much sent him a cease and desist and made him issue an apology because you didn't fact check this. This is somebody on your show, and you're not like pushing against them either. Like, hey, yeah, you're not. You are creating this narrative, and it's defamation. And defamation is, guys, is when somebody says things about you that are not true, pretty much, and you can prove this to not be true. Libel is when people type it and print it. So like that's what those are the difference between the two. And so ultimately, he had to issue an apology, and that's what you see circulating now. So I'm ultimately interested in, will this trickle down? Because like he said, this person is standing 10 toes down in the information that they're spreading. But then Jaguar Wright is like, also like, there's a $500,000 bounty on my head. Well, if that's true, prove it. Prove these things to us. But it's all these things that she is saying, that she's not saying they're allegations, that this is fact. And nobody ever pushes back on her to fact check her or to confirm this information. So I'm interested to see how even the blog that she's on that has been publishing these clips and things about different people, ultimately how it'll trickle down, because I'm surprised that nobody has sued her. Just like I'm like, y'all suing Tasha K?
Tasha K had a little bit of bread though popping now. She was worth it. She was a fish worth it. And Cardi B's petty.
Yeah, she a Libra. So she an air sign.
Keep that in mind that Cardi B is petty.
And for the most part, I believe that people are not addressing things, likely because some people are like, oh, that's a level of guilt there that you're just trying to cover or whatever. People still, but also it's also that point where that flip side where people have already formulated thoughts and opinions, so it's not my job to dispel those things. So Now I feel like if she is generating a profit off of this, then I think at some point that could potentially be the next step. But yeah, I mean, I'm just wondering too, because like he said, but also it's like, dang, you be petty.
Dame is petty too.
So those lawsuits might be warranted.
Hey, I be thinking the same thing. I'm like, dang, man, but like, are they right?
The one thing that I believed him on for 100% was that shit that he said about Lee Daniels.
Lee Daniels had to pay him.
Yeah, I was like, I was like, I believe him. That's because that's the weirdest, outlandish lie ever. You know what I mean? I was like, that would be the dumbest thing to lie about. Everything else sus, but I mean, he does have valid points here, but it's like people have said things about Beyonce since her coming onto the scene. She's never really addressed anything, even from the, oh, you didn't carry blue or whatever. Yeah, and even if she didn't and she played like that, just like it's not our business. Because she does talk about miscarriages that she's had, and y'all done bullied her into having these twins where she had all these complications, you know what I mean? So it's like, I don't owe y'all that. So I don't foresee, because that's just not Beyonce's MO anyway, to address anything.
So is this Jaguar Wright thing going to be going, like, people? She's got disciples now, and
not disciples.
Yeah,
she did like Umar Johnson.
Oh no, she's not. Umar's Umar's deep in the game. Umar over 10 years deep. She ain't got that.
Yeah,
but it does feel like I do wonder how she hasn't been able to really monetize this effectively. Or if she does monetize it, that's when somebody gonna be like, oh, you got, and you know, I just thought about it.
Yep.
They're not suing her because she doesn't have a platform that she could directly, that platform could always say, I just had her interviewing her. And now the way she can get around it is if they're paying her.
If they are paying her, because it's
but she doesn't have anything technically for you to come after. So you're like, man, it's a waste of time.
It would be them having to figure out if Real Life Productions, if she has some sort of stake in that company, or if that's really her.
Or they're paying her directly, like yo, here go 10 grand for being on for this week, or whatever. That's what they would have to try to figure out. But it's like, man, for someone to do all, like, people understand that lawyers are expensive, yo.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I mean, people know, I got on a retainer, but retainer is only for a certain amount of things. Let's come out making a couple of calls, sending a couple of letters, but like to investigate and go through. Man,
it gets expensive. Because I know the one person that you know about that case.
Mm-hmm.
I think that bill is like somewhere between $25,000 to $50,000, and maybe a little more.
Damn.
That, and remember, this person won that, so somebody else has to pay his fees.
Damn.
Yeah. That'd be the thing. That's why you want to make sure that's included. And then, like, this person had given multiple outs, so it wouldn't even get like that, and they wouldn't take the out.
Dang.
Yeah, that should get expensive. My the other case ran into the 6 figures that person beat. That he had paid.
Oh wow.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so then that's a whole different thing then.
Yeah.
But it's just yo. I mean, I'm not saying that she could not be right about some things, but the idea of like, why ain't nobody sued her then? I don't know. I wonder if somebody's already. I mean, shout out Tevin Campbell has threatened to sue her recently. I wonder if he's been on some like, or maybe people have investigated maybe and be like, dude, she ain't got nothing else to come after. Like, so what are we gonna do?
It could be that, but you could put a gag order on somebody's seal.
No, if I ain't got nothing to come after, fuck you. What am you gonna do?
But I mean, you can still. But it's like, hey, you can't. But it's like, okay, so like the Tasha K thing. Yes, Tasha K had money, but also, which all she has to do was issue the apology, and she was trying to stand in that. Was idiot. But she can't mention Cardi or anything like that. Cardi could take her back to court for that. So even though the homegirl might not have nothing, there's still loopholes and ways where you can get somebody. Because we just not gonna let you, because you run off at the mouth. And I don't necessarily believe that there's a $500,000 bounty on her head, because I feel like if it really were, you would really be shutting the fuck up.
Yeah, and that whole thing is weird to me, man.
Hella weird.
It's just, and like, hey, if Jaguar Wright is the biggest truth teller out here, then hey, more power to the sister. It's just this doesn't seem right in my eyes in a lot of when it comes to some of this situation or whatnot. But hey, it is what it is. Let's keep it moving. Where do I want to go next?
You want to just keep talking about Dame since we're here?
I mean, I guess we can talk about Dame since we're here. Well, then Dame, as we continue on with the Dame Dash, discusses why him and Jay-Z fell out over the Best of Both Worlds tour, or whatnot. So here we go with that.
Business with him. When it came down to R.Kelly, there was a conversation had about the moralness, like it's morally wrong to do a project with someone that we know raped my girl or raped anybody for that matter. So I do know that that conversation was had, and I was really surprised that he moved forward with that relationship. I don't know Epstein, so I never had the chance to walk away from him. But I do know that when that project did come out, I didn't want any part of that project. I didn't want any of the money to go to Rockefeller or me when it came to Rockefeller. It was around the time that Jay was trying to kind of separate himself from us. And he was saying that he didn't want to be a part anymore. And we resolved that issue with, look, if you want, because he wanted me to dilute and he wanted Biggs to dilute. And I wasn't diluting because I know what I mean and what I do for business. And Biggs was ready to.
Hold on. We got another part, y'all. Hold on. We got another part. Let me pull that other part.
I was like, oh, it was getting so good.
Yeah, no, it's another part. It's another part. It's another part.
But our OG Deuce from St. Croix kind of stepped in and was like, that's not right. And that's how we resolved it. The way we resolved it was, yo, you keep all the money from that project. I don't want no parts of it. The best of both worlds. So again, I mean, that is true. But, you know, I just think that, I think homie has to answer some questions right now.
All right, Dom, what you got?
I'm looking up the album sales.
From Best of Both Worlds?
Yeah.
Well, we know the tour got messed up.
Well, yeah, we know the tour got messed up. So it went platinum, and it's saying that the first week it sold 223,000 copies. Second week, 137,000 copies. Third week, 82,000 copies. Total 875 in the United States as of November 2004. The album was certified platinum by the RIAA on May 14, 2002 for selling over 1 million copies. Okay. Despite debuting at number 2 on the Billboard chart, the album was considered a commercial failure because it sold less than half of the artist's previous solo efforts. Critics also criticized the album for having uninspired and recycled song meanings. Okay. I mean, everything that Dame is saying, it makes sense. Like, why would I want to be a part of a project where and affiliated with a project where this person, you know, did this to my girlfriend? You know what I mean? So it does make hella sense, and I kind of believe him on that. Ultimately, I spoke to you and said how a lot of people around really have kind of failed her. And
you feel like that in general?
I feel like that in general. We could, we don't have to stay here on it.
Yeah, no. Man, I'm just interested. Why you say that? Why would you?
I feel like a lot of people failed her just similarly to like some of these other artists, just because of what was happening. A lot of people don't want to put any flack on her parents. How are you letting your 14, 15-year-old daughter go on tour and you not there? We can put it on the uncle as well, that, Blackground Records, all of this stuff. We've spoken about that here, where I told you when I saw those images in Right On and Word Up magazine of them and the matching outfits, and was very well aware how old she was and how I felt like that. I'm like, this is kind of inappropriate because how old is he? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So like we were very aware of what was happening. It just wasn't confirmed until later down the line. And unfortunately, we'll never, unless there's some lost tapes, we'll never really know what was going through her mind, what that looked like, for her. And it's not necessarily any of our business. But I told somebody, I was like, maybe in her passing, it gave her a level of peace that she would have never even found on earth. Just because at that time, it was like the speculations and all that stuff really started to come to a head before she passed. So it sucks how everything happened.
I'm Doja. They sleep. Yeah, we part of Just Posted Podcast, man. The best show on this network. Come on, check, though.
Seriously, man. Just Posted. It's just me and Doja sitting back talking about what the fuck going on in the world and the streets.
We said labor of love. He said labor of love. I ain't say that shit. Shout out to everybody coming to watch though, man. We really appreciate y'all. Holla at y'all later.
Hey man, this nigga just tall for no reason.
I'm gone.
And he do regular jobs. Don't forget that.
I really firmly believe that. And, especially because we learned that her family was paid off, receiving royalties from one of his albums. And I don't think it was like 12 play or anything. So it wasn't even like, like his biggest selling album. But then you have people that be the thing that people don't even think about, like as a whole, when you talk about that guy. They don't look at the bigger picture. They don't look at the bigger picture of that and that bigger scale. And they look at it, it's always, the blame is always placed on the victim, where you heard these things and you just still decided to go and was being fast. Like, people are always with the victim blame. And I was like, okay, can we turn this energy to the parents? Because this information was out there. You thought your kid was special. You thought your kid was different. You thought they was going to be treated different. He did the same thing. He has the same. He's a sociopath. Talking about
it's interesting. It's interesting. Jay working with. Even then though, I thought, I was like, oh, this is a big. It was a big deal at the time. Like, oh wow, they doing that. But it was still like, I don't know if this is gonna work. And why would Jay need to work with Kells? But okay, it has some decent tracks on there, nothing crazy. And then the tour was horrendous. Everybody knows that, the whole tour, all that would one of Jay's crew, Tata, Mace's, a whole bunch of people from R.Kelly's crew, because of some stage time and some other randomness that we're not privy to, but it just didn't make sense that him doing that. And Dame talking about this, it makes a lot of sense, because I used to always be like, why would Dame want to do business or be cool doing business with the Leah situation? I always wondered that. And Dame, you can say what you want to about Dame. I've never seen Dame be a liar.
Yeah.
Dame may be over the top and may be, believing things that, because he has he's a visionary and he thinks that he can overcome things like some people do. But I've never seen him be a liar.
Yeah. So
there's that.
Yeah, I think definitely same sentiments, like, oh, that's interesting, and like them collaborating. But then I think of it as, how we have people in whatever industry you work in, like, we're not friends, we're co-workers. And this is pitched and I gotta work with you or whatever. And that's also me being young and naive and not understanding the ins and outs of the business like how I do now, where this might not have I like Fiesta.
Fiesta was dope.
But ultimately, just it just gives me the ick. And a lot of, when as you really kind of look more into that situation with Aaliyah, it's just like very interesting. And even how people, try to, paint every different areas of that situation. And at the end of the day, she was still a victim. Yeah. But that goes back to us, like, people pick and choose what they want to be riled up about, what they want to turn the other cheek about. And we know in our community, when it comes to sex, child molestation, assault, all the different things, people want to be about it.
Yeah.
And it's 2024. We got to stop that shit.
Yeah. Well, I mean, not Dame. Jay is in an interesting situation now with a lot of going on. So I'm interested to see how he plays it. He may not say anything. He probably won't say anything.
Yeah.
So I would advise him not to say anything with all this stuff coming out from the Jaguar Wrights of the world. But someone else, y'all thought we weren't going to do it. Y'all thought we weren't going to do it. We going to get through this show and not do it. Y'all know what time it is. It is time. Surviving Diddy. All right, where are we at now, Dom? What are we looking at now? Surviving Diddy. This is the Mama edition, right?
That's the Mama edition. We're gonna talk about Janice Cohn. You know, I to be honest, I think I was more so shocked that she even said something.
I agree,
because she's been mom this entire time, and we're coming up on a year next month of Cassie filing suit against him.
Mm-hmm.
So Janice Combs says he may not have been entirely truthful about his domestic violence incident with Cassie, but that doesn't mean he's guilty of sex crimes. Amid a wave of Diddy's allegations, his mother, Janice Combs, has recently come forward to address her son's legal troubles. According to Local 10 News, Janice spoke on the controversy, acknowledging that Diddy may have lied about the domestic violence incident that was caught on camera. However, she did point out that this isn't an admission of guilt on Diddy's part regarding his more serious sexual assault allegations. She goes on to say, okay, she says it again. My son may not have been entirely truthful about certain things, such as denying he has ever gotten violent with an ex-girlfriend when the hotel surveillance cameras showed otherwise. Sometimes the truth and a lie can become so closely intertwined that it becomes terrifying to omit one part of the story, especially when that truth outside of the norm is too complicated to be believed. This is why I believe my son's civil legal team opted to settle with the ex-girlfriend instead of contesting it until the end, resulting in a ricochet of effects that has, as the federal government used this decision against my son by interpreting it as an admission of guilt. So ultimately, she said, yeah, he was abusive, but he didn't do this other stuff that y'all talking about.
Right.
So, like I told you, the defense is definitely in for a lot of stuff, but ultimately the main thing, like we talked about for sure, is the situation with the guns. You know, he's not in trouble, guys, for having 1,000 bottles of baby oil. Like, we know that. They were just saying the evidence, like when they went to raid his home, what they found, that was just part of what they found. So he's not on trial for 1,000 bottles of baby oil or being a freak hoe. They are trying to prove that he sex trafficked people. That means even if you get flued out and you engage in intercourse, that you have crossed state lines. That's the same thing that they're saying. But the issue is like we go back to the consent level of it. Again, I'm just shocked that the mom has said anything, because it is now a year and his kids haven't really said anything or acknowledged the situation. It's more so they acknowledge the situation and issue with him.
Well, King Combs came out that song talking about fuck the feds and all that stuff.
Okay. That's
which kind of feel like it was the reason they dropped that tape of Cassie, the type of Cassie being abused.
Well, ultimately, you see, he ain't said nothing since.
No, that's yeah. He know that.
Like, shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
And so ultimately, I don't know, like this isn't gonna do anything. This isn't detrimental to his case, you know, at all. Like I wouldn't say, oh, Janice, you shouldn't, you know what I mean? But I think people around him just should not be talking. I think that the attorney needs to stop going on these press runs, because I think if anything, that's a little more detrimental to the case. But I also understand that you're trying to gain favor of the public. You're trying to gain favor of these potential jurors that are coming into play in this case. So I understand why he's doing it, but it's like they have not been the best interviews. I probably should have went to law school. But I'm not. I like reporting on things like this. But yeah, I think it's a little too late, Auntie. And also, like, I'm not gonna really trust your judgment because it's 2024 and you still wearing these contacts.
Yeah, good point.
So yeah, the decision making on your end isn't that great to me. So that's all I'm gonna say. It's just strange. But you might have called something last week.
What is that?
About all the people that will call that hotline.
It's 12,000 in one day, right?
Yeah, 12,000 calls in 24 hours. So now I don't know if y'all just about to get the clerks and stuff busy work at this place, because that's a lot of stuff that y'all have to sift through to try to prove some level of malice. You know what I mean? Like, is this worth trying?
I told you it was gonna be ridiculous.
You did. But now they're in for their, you know, their work is cut out for them because of this. Because I'm like,
they're gonna have to sit there and go through all of them and see who's legit and who's not.
Because like all I could think of for 12,000 calls, like, not saying I'm not giving him the benefit of the doubt. What I'm saying is, do y'all think this is some class action lawsuit? And
look, I ain't gonna lie. I called Dom. I put my name in there. I said at 97 at the Biggie concert in St. Louis, January 1997, Diddy brushed up against me and it changed my life. I called the hotline. Hopefully I can get me a little check. Even if it's 250, 300, I'll take it.
Y'all, please excuse my co-host and his shenanigans. Please. But also, I was at that concert. Yeah, I was there.
300, you know, just a little bit of something, you know.
Yeah.
Just a little taste.
You know, and you know what I remember vividly about that concert? And it's weird because I really don't recall Diddy's set outside of Missing You. Walk with me. I remember other parts. I remember Lil' Kim coming out, like, and she was on the bed.
Like Rob came out, the locks came out.
Don't remember it. Remember very vividly Busta Rhymes' performance and him coming out of that Aztec and Incan skull, and it was like a jungle. Give me some more. So much to the point where I became a Busta Rhymes fan.
Busta had a run for a second.
So I would move to LA. I would be at the Roxbury.
Oh no, don't do that. Don't do that.
And I try to give props, and this motherfucker rolled his eyes at me.
I didn't want you to do that.
I don't care. And also did it again this summer outside of a different club. And I'm like, I didn't say nothing this time, yo. I didn't say nothing. I wasn't acknowledging him. Rolled them eyes like I stole his man.
I'm sorry. Don't do that. 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 You must be cool with some woman that he got into.
He don't know me. He ain't never seen me. He don't know me from Adam. Is that the saying? He don't know me from Adam. I think that's
Adam.
the saying.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So this is, as we wrap up, my final question for you for this show. Actually, no, we're gonna do one more.
Okay.
About this kidnapping girl. So we want to do. We'll have it fun then. Can Barack Obama save Diddy?
We're gonna go on to the next topic.
if Barack Obama came out was like, I don't think Diddy did it. Could it change hearts and minds, or is he so far gone that Obama can't help him out?
Dude, if Barack Obama came out and said this would change the shape and the face of the election. Okay. Kamala, is losing solely based on Obama saying some dumb shit like that. No, he is so far gone. I think people just are not. I told you last week, D. People are solely focused on this one piece, not looking at the big. Like, people are not looking at this case in its entirety. That's scary. That's the part that's scary.
Yes, so Obama can't even save you, Diddy. Damn.
No.
All right. This next was a fun story. We'll talk about it as we go. We was talking some serious stuff. Let's talk some fun. No, let me let y'all hear this.
Kidnap a girl. I just took her because she was about to go out of town with my nigga and I didn't want her to go. I don't feel like that was toxic. I feel like, I can talk about it now because the case over, right? I put her in the trunk. I had on a clown mask. What's so crazy is I had on an it mask and a coat that literally covered my head and went to like the tip of my toes. And after it happened and after we dropped her off and whatever woods, that bitch said she got to a phone and my nigga called me like, bitch, you dumb as fuck, you going to jail. I was like, because I didn't think, how would you know it's me? I had on the mask from, like, I was covered. The old me, that's not me right now. I don't like that version of me.
Like, comment, share.
All right, this is actually a rapper, the woman that did this. Hold on, it's an actual rapper, Little Baddie, I believe. Let me make sure here. But what do you think, Dom? As I figure out,
listen, when I sent that to you, I was like, damn, her eyes look crazy. Like, it's something there.
He knew who it was.
Exactly, because like, I'm not beefing with no nigga, all these different things, and I'm gonna say something. I just had to have this conversation over the weekend. Ladies, we gotta stop being so stupid. Stop being stupid. Stop thinking you one up in somebody, thinking you got the upper hand, because it can lead to dangerous ass situations.
I Dream of Lady is her name.
I don't know her. I don't dream of her. I don't know her. I don't dream of her music or anything. So ultimately, we have to stop being reactive to things. Men too, but I'm talking to us. Like, y'all gotta look at the Z before you step into the A, okay? Because for every action is a reaction. This is basic science. That is math. A plus B equals C, okay? It's no way that you should be putting yourself.
No, it's not her. Go keep going. It's not our Dream Lady. I'm sorry, I'm Dream Lady. That's not you.
Okay, I'm sorry. Still don't. Yeah. I'm not retracting my statement. But ultimately, just being smarter and wiser about the choices that we make concerning men and surrounding men. Like, I know that our culture, we have this thing where, in order for us to obtain a certain level of love, like, we feel like some sort of struggle and tussle have to come with that in order for us to like be happy with this person. That's not true. Everything don't gotta be dramatic. Everything don't have to be, like the TV show Reasonable Doubt. Every nigga don't gotta have a baby on you. You don't have to be sleeping with somebody else to find this level of fulfillment, emptiness, because your partner leave. The signs were there prior to her kidnapping this young lady.
Yeah, like you said, he knew who he was.
He knew exactly who it was. And so, which led me to believe, like, for her to call him right away, you clearly wasn't as incognito as you thought you were.
He called her. He called her right away.
That's what I'm saying. For him to call her right away meant that girl got to a phone and called him right away.
Yep.
Which gave it away.
And she was like, I don't even know how she ended, because he know you crazy.
Exactly. And when people make you act out of character, or you feel like that's like, oh, that's not me, that's an old version of me, and you are entitled to grow. You are entitled to move on from situations. We make mistakes. You are entitled to learn. You didn't like that version of yourself. Good. Hopefully you did the work so you don't ever go back to that version of yourself. But people got to stop doing dumb shit that can cost them their freedom, their life, for some dick that you probably not even going to be fucking on in the next year or two.
And getting locked up for it too.
Getting locked up for it. I said your freedom.
Yeah.
So stop being dumb, y'all. Like, y'all are really dumb for real. Because there's no way. Because, like, I'm like look. Candy. Like what Candy said, don't think I'm not. I ain't got a question where you were last night because I already know you lying. But just know I was out here getting mine too. If you're going to stay with him. And if you're going to stay with him, let him cheat in peace. And if you're going to stay with her.
Hey, low key, what if she was a side chick and she that crazy to believe she was the main chick?
That is totally plausible. That is plausible.
And that's I mean, a part of me is like looking at it like, why is she even stupid? She do got them eyes. She got them eyes of like, that's the old man. I mean, we can talk about it, right? Because it's all the case is over.
Dummy.
Like, I hope she gets re-locked up for some reason. I don't know why.
Shut up. Okay, now I ain't going that far, friend.
Because I feel like this ain't gonna be her first time kidnapping somebody. That we're gonna see a little small YouTube documentary on her doing it for the second time.
But here, okay, so I got questions. Like, when you was kidnapping, was a friend with you? Like, did you have an accomplice? How you get her in the trunk? Did you just push her in there? Did you tie her up? Like, what happened? Because you didn't have no intentions on killing her. You just wanted to scare her to leave your man alone.
Unless she might have had a gun on her and just told her to get in the trunk.
Okay.
But this is the thing though. You know how she figured out who it was? She in the trunk. She didn't call some other people on the phone on that speakerphone in the car.
Probably.
And old girl laying in the trunk listening.
Mm-hmm.
Girl, yeah, I got that bitch in the back right now.
Mm-hmm.
Cassandra, you don't. Yes, I do. And old girl could hear in the car. That's why she was able to jump out and be like,
that makes sense.
Your girl Cassandra, I heard her on the phone. That's how she found out. And she's so dumb that if you're gonna do that, why would you even be calling anybody while you doing a crime like that?
No, sure. I am confident of that.
That's exactly how they found out. She was on the phone with somebody bragging about it, about what she's doing.
Yeah.
They said her name out loud and it's on speaker.
Yeah. We'll have an update when we find the case online, the news article.
Yeah. And when she on the YouTube little video for doing it again, y'all, I told y'all one time it was going to happen. 2 times it was going to happen. I don't want it to happen, but I'm not going to be shocked if we do. And I'm going to find out more about this young lady. I got to now. I got a deep dive.
You silly as hell.
I got to do it, y'all. All right, Don, where can people hit you up at?
Y'all continue to subscribe to my YouTube, St. Angeles .com. Well, that's my website.
You get it out, everything.
Yeah, YouTube the Instagram. My podcast is available wherever you podcast. Whiskey Soured is just what you search. You'll see me. Gold chain dress, fire. We have a new episode out featuring your favorite Daryl, along with our homeboy CJ, as we talk about the ins and outs of the industry. Just know D is blaming Puffy for a lot of things over there. So y'all go and check that out. But we have a very healthy, insightful conversation just from different aspects. And, we're not saying we're, or sommeliers of music. We're more like connoisseurs a little bit, just discussing what's going on in the industry as far as music and what ultimately is next for music. So, yeah, that's it for me.
All right, y'all. Definitely subscribe. Go on the SOC Network on Instagram, all those good places and everything. Oh, and now I'm re-looking at this video, Dom. She has old English numbers on her fingers. Yeah, she crazy, y'all. She gonna do it again. All right. We'll talk to y'all soon. Peace.